Hi everybody. For today's lesson, I would like you to try to think of some imaginary scenario that demonstrates one of the three types of natural selection patterns that we talked about yesterday. That's directional selection, stabilizing selection, and disruptive selection. Now, in this scenario, you're going to be using your classmates as the example population. Remember that these natural selection scenarios have to affect some students with certain polygenic traits, right? So your scenario could be about, student height. Or it could be about intelligence, hair color, eye color. All these things are polygenic traits. I would try to stay away from skin color because it's impossible to write a scenario about skin color without sounding racist. But there's lots of other options to choose when you're looking at polygenic traits. In this imaginary scenario that you guys are going to be writing, you want to kind of create something where certain students are being selected against and explain why they're being selected against, right? Usually when you're selected against, that means that you're not able to survive and reproduce as well as other students, right? You also want to tell me what effect this is going to have on future generations of students if this scenario persists over time. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about and what I'm looking for here. So in my imaginary scenario that I wrote, right, it says to celebrate the end of quarantine, Mr. Kruger decides to take his class to an amusement park. The park has a brand new roller coaster, and Mr. Kruger forces all of his students to ride the roller coaster regardless of height. So, on roller coasters, there's always the signs that you have to be between this height and this height to go on the ride. We're like, nah, I'm not doing that. Everybody rides on it, right? So we all get on this coaster, we strap in, right? And it's a really sweet coaster, right? It has loop-de-loops and tunnels and all this fancy stuff. So we're on the ride, and we get to the first loop-de-loop, right? And all of the small students, they're too short to ride the roller coaster. They go flying out of the roller coaster on the first loop-de-loop, splat, hit the pavement, and don't survive, right? And the freakishly tall students who are safely strapped in, they're laughing hysterically at their smaller classmates going flying through the air, that they don't notice that just off the screen, there's a tunnel here, right? So, not seeing the tunnel, they whack and hit their heads against the top of the tunnel and get decapitated, right? By the time the roller coaster ends, only the average height students survive this roller coaster of doom, right? So that's my imaginary scenario. In this case, I chose human height as my polygenic trait. Right? And this is an example of stabilizing selection because only the average students survive. So future generations of students or future generations of Mr. Kruger's class would have more average sized students. Alright, so that's what I'm looking for. Try to have fun with it. Try to be creative. Alright, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks guys. Good luck. Bye.